dirties, bust their head.
ODing on a beat, Narcan flow. Got my... We outside. We outside with it. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I got the world in the palm of my hand. One west sleeve stretch, do it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, tell them shooters they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving Halo, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos, leave you all boxed up. All cause my delivery, I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir, treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim, fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got that Ruger 5 and 7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. The Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly, be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a baldy. Chopper get the run down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog, this the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big bursts of thunder in my hands like I'm reading. Shitty little combat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look 'em in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movements with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother how to bid, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. My Glock loaded, extra mag and it's outside. Here's one west for that bag and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. We outside, yeah, we outside. There's one west on them corners and we outside. We outside with it.
Hey, I'm just following orders. Let me get one of those slow motion pictures, bro.
All right. Shalom, Israel. You live with the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. Priest and Captain Soccer War holding down the class live from Memphis, Tennessee. Every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we have classes here in Memphis from 6 to 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there's nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. What we like to do with these classes is give brothers and sisters an opportunity to go inside of this Bible so we can learn the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Most High is placed inside of this book so that we can come back to being the people that he called us to be and reclaim our righteous place on the earth as kings, priests, princesses, and daughters of Zion. With that being said, I'd like to start the class off with questions. If any of brothers or sisters have questions online, type them in. If there's any questions in the room, just raise your hand. Teacher will call on you. And if there are no questions, then we'll go into the topic of tonight's class. What you see on the screen is a righteous authority. All right, a righteous authority. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Shema, Thabashim Yahushua, the sister Mana Ima out of Nashville. I want to say shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, the brother Chris Ben Israel, checking in from Mississippi. Chris Mead Ben Israel, checking in from Mississippi. Shalom out. And Yahweh Shema, Thabashim Yahushua to sister from Louisiana, Officer Matabar's wife. You understand? The topic of tonight's class is kind of a carryover from last night's class. Yeah, last night we discussed the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Really breaking down what it means to be in the truth and how important it is for brothers and sisters to dedicate their lives to following the path that our King Yahushua, who the world calls Jesus Christ, set before us. You understand? There is a righteous path that you can walk and a way that you can live your life, that you can please the Most High and gain access to the kingdom of heaven. For the men, gain a crown on your head when our King Yahushua returns. And it's really based on you coming into the truth, learning how Christ lived his life and obeyed the laws of the Most High, and dedicating yourself to doing the same. All right. The way by which we are going to gain access to that path and to that way is by following a righteous authority. And I started yesterday's class by talking about how the first scripture I pulled was in 1 Corinthians 11, where Paul said, "Be a follower of me as I am a follower of Christ." And that's why we are followers of Commander General Yohana in the ISUPK, because he's the man that the Lord gave the truth to. You understand? That he received in 1 West 125th Street and carried it so that in 2026 we can receive it and learn it and walk that path as well. And there's a lot of brothers and sisters that don't like that the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge boasts itself as the authority of the Most High on the earth right now, to have the truth and to raise up priests and prophets to go out and show our people the way that we're supposed to be living. You understand? And the only reason why someone would have an issue with that in my book is if they believe that the Lord is with them, that they are the righteous authority on the earth, that they are the ones that the people should be following and listening to in order to walk that path of righteousness. But I don't find that when I look at other organizations, when I look at the other religions and Christianity, everybody believes that everyone can be in tune with God, that the Lord could be dealing with everybody, and you could have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. You could have a one-on-one walk with the Most High that is outside of any authority or any organization or any structure, and that's just not true according to the Bible. Today we're going to go into the Bible, and I'm going to show you that at any point in the history of man being on the earth, the Lord chose one man to deal with to be his authority on the earth. I'm going to show you how when the Lord established the nation of Israel, he chose one man to have authority over all the people. And that man chose to delegate and choose other men to be in charge. I'm going to show you how when the Lord established Saul to be the king on the earth, the Lord only dealt with Saul as far as being in charge and being a king until the Lord rose up David. And then there was a beef during that time of who was in charge, and the Lord showed who he was with. I'm going to show you that in every generation of Israelites being on the earth, there was one that the Lord chose to be in authority, and anyone operating outside of that got destroyed. You understand? And there's no different today. Since 1969, the Most High was dealing with the priests and the prophets in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, and he rose up those men and gave them the understanding and the wisdom that we are able to find and follow in the Bible today. And those men passed what they were taught and passed their authority down to Commander General Yohana. And when the school split and when men left and decided that they wanted to join other organizations or create other groups, that authority that the Lord established at 1 West 125th Street was passed to Commander General Yohana, and that authority is still in power today. You understand? And what made me decide to want to teach this class is there's a fake Israelite group called the Gathering of Christ Church, GOCC. And the GOCC, the leader is a man named Rakar Shiar. Rakar Shiar came up under Commander General Yohana in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of the Philadelphia school. And when Rakar Shiar wanted to leave the UPK and wanted to go and start his own organization, Commander General Yohana told him not to do it. that it was not in the spirit of the Most High, that it was going to be a failure, and he was going to lead a lot of brothers and sisters astray. Well, there's videos and testimonies being posted online by members of GOCC discussing how evil and horrible that organization is, and there's somebody who uncovered that a plan that the leader had to just leave the people and disappear to Africa in a year. And so now everybody who was in GOCC is all, putting out their testimonies and their horror stories. You got women who were being abused and beat by men, and all types of horrible things that was going on in that organization is beginning to come out. And our response is in the ISUPK is Commander General Yohana told y'all. He warned, he gave an order a long time ago for all so-called Israelite camps to come together, for everybody to come back home and learn to do this thing the right way so that we could stop from brothers and sisters from being hurt and being abused and being led astray. But they don't want to recognize the righteous authority that exists in this place, and it's to their own detriment. All right, so that's what we're going to go into today. Let me say shalom, Yahweh Shema, Tabashim Shah, the sister Kapatazar down here in Memphis, and Yahweh Bashim Shah, Brakathada, officer call, checking in, all right? So the first scripture we're going to go to, let's get, let's see something here. Let's get Proverbs chapter 29, verse 12. All right. Let's get Proverbs chapter 29, verse 2. Go ahead and read it. Bear with me. All right. Proverbs chapter 29 and verse 2. And it reads, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You understand? When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. When the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. And this applies as large scale as you want to look at it to however small scale you want to look at it. You understand? You look at America today. The righteous are not in authority in this place, which is why the people of America mourn. They mourn about their rulership. You understand? And they're sad and depressed about the condition they're in because the people that's in charge are not looking out for the people. They're not doing what they're supposed to do. You look at brothers and sisters who are in the Christian church and the Muslim mosque. Those brothers and sisters are mourning. Their lives are not what it's supposed to be. Their lives are not a reflection of what you read in this Bible. Why? Because the people that are leading them are not righteous. You understand? Then you look at the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I've been in the truth for a number of years. And in my time in the truth, man, I've had ups and downs and I've gone through different things in life. But what I could never say is that the leadership in this school was not always present and available for me for help. You understand? If you're a brother or sister out there, whatever you're going through in life, whatever you're dealing with, you pick up a phone and call, or you pick up the phone and text. There's someone in the ISUPK that's going to answer your call. They're going to respond to your text. I don't care. There's brothers and sisters that leave the school. They leave this body and go and be somewhere else and living their life and doing their thing. Then when the world breaks them, when running from the Lord breaks them, they pick up the phone and they call. And you know what we do? We answer. We answer, shalom, my Lord in Christ. What's going on with you? Oh, sir, I've been jammed up, man. I haven't checked in a while. I went to do this thing, went to do that thing. And, man, the Lord is breaking me. What do I got to do to get right, sir? Listen, you know what you got to do. You got to come back in here and rededicate yourself to serving the Lord. There's sisters that come into school, they leave the school. They didn't get the husband they wanted or didn't get things didn't go their way. They leave and life start to hit them and they going through it. They call and Ask for help. Salakia, sir, I've been away for a while, but I need some help. I'm trying to get back, trying to do this and that. We will answer your problems. We will give you the solutions that you need. That is because the righteous are in authority here. There's not a brother or sister that I've known been in coming to the truth and stand in the truth that never get solutions to their problems, never get answers to the questions that they have. Now, the solution may not be what you think it's going to be. It's a lot of married women out there. They going through situations in their relationship. They call the school for help. Can you help me with the brother? He's, that he with his other wife. He's doing this and that. And I know a lot of times sisters think that because they made the phone call, they think this place is like the white man, where whoever called the police first going to get the help they need. Police going to be on their side. That's not how it works in here. You call and you got an issue or a problem in your relationship. We need to understand the full scope of everything that's going on. We need to hear both sides of the story. Most importantly, usually in a relationship, when there's issues and there's problems, everybody is accountable. Meaning what? You're a sister and you having a problem in your relationship, you got to examine yourself and ask yourself, what am I doing wrong? Or what am I not doing that's making this situation bad? How can I be a better wife? How can I, make things smoother at home? Then the brother got to be talked to, and the brother got to say to himself, well, damn, am I being am I being loving and caring? Am I making sure that I'm giving her what she needs? You know what I'm saying? She does do what I asked her to do and this and that. Maybe I do need to spend more time. But a lot of the times when you call to get help, the answer that you get is not the answer that you wanted or the answer you were looking for. You've got to accept that this righteous authority is telling you the right thing, and then you got to be able to take accountability and then do what you're told to do. I say all that to say, I don't know one brother or sister that's ever called and gotten counsel that regretted it. I don't know one brother or sister that's ever been told to do something by the school and they did it and then had a complaint about it. Why? Because when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. You understand? I can't speak for anywhere else. I can speak for the people that are in the ISUPK and the Commander General Yohana. We rejoicing in here. We thanking the Most High every day for our lives because he delivered us into the truth. I can't speak for anybody outside of here. I can't tell you that everybody in the Christian church is, rejoicing. I can't tell you that everybody in the fake Israelite group is rejoicing. And like I said, the horror stories that we hear coming out of these groups that's not the Israelite School of UPK is the evidence that the Lord is dealing with us and not dealing with them. Everybody understands. Now, is this just something I'm making up? Is it because I'm in the ISUPK that I say that this is the place where the righteous authority of the Lord is present? Am I biased in my sentiments? Well, let's go and get into the Bible and show you what the scripture says about how the Most High goes about establishing a hierarchy and a rulership in the nation of Israel. All right. First of all, we're gonna go back into the book of Exodus. All right. Let's get hold on. Let's get Deuteronomy chapter 1. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 1. Hold on. All right, get Deuteronomy. We're going to start at chapter 1, verse 12. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 12. And we're going to read down to verse 18. All right. Deuteronomy chapter 1. Start at verse 12 on down to 18. All right. And this is going to the beginning of the Lord establishing his hierarchy of rulership among the children of Israel. All right. And then after we go to how the Lord established the hierarchy, then we're going to go to the people that challenged that authority that the Lord established and what happened with them. All right. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 1. We have verse 12. It says, how can I myself alone bear your cumbrance and your burden and your strife? Now, who is this speaking? This is Moses speaking to the children of Israel. Right. And he's saying, how can I alone bear all the burden of being over such a great nation of people? Right. The previous verse, you read verse 11, Moses talks about how he prayed the Lord would multiply us by thousands and we would grow as a nation. Then he said, how can I alone bear the cumbrance of your burden and your strife? I mean, how can I deal with being over all of these people? Verse 13, take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. So guess what? The Most High gave Moses authority over the children of Israel. The Lord used Moses to bring us out of Egypt. The Lord used Moses to perform miracles, to destroy the Egyptians and to show his power to the children of Israel. And then once we got ourselves, on the road, Moses said, look, man, this is a large nation of people. How can I be over all of you all? Then Moses used the authority God gave to him to delegate authority to other men. You understand? Moses understood this is too great a number of people for me to rule over. Let me find some other men that can help out in this responsibility. And that's verse 13. Take you wise men and understanding and known among your tribes, and I will make them rulers over you. And ye answered me and said, the thing which thou hast spoken is good for us to do. Moses gave an order and the people agreed. So what did Moses do? Deuteronomy 1:15. So I took the chief of your tribes, wise men and known, and made them heads over you, captains over thousands and captains over hundreds and captains over fifties and captains over tens and officers among your tribes. Moses is the one that chose who was going to rule over us. Moses delegated his authority to men that were under him. Guess what you don't see happening here? You don't see the people voting for a ruler. You don't see the people coming together and saying, Moses, this is who we want to be a chief over us. This is who we want to be a captain over our tribes. Moses took the authority that was given to him by God over the children of Israel, and Moses chose other men to aid him in his leadership, aid him in his responsibility of ruling over the people. The government of Israel was not established as a democracy. You understand? It was a meritocracy, meaning you got rulership based on your merit. Moses chose the men he chose because what? Because of their experience, because of their wisdom, because of the respect they had among the people. But it was decided from the top down. Rulership in Israel gets decided from the top down. It does not get decided from the bottom up. The people don't get to choose their ruler in Israel. The people don't get to decide who's going to be the one telling them what to do. The Lord chooses. And he started that choosing process with Moses. Let's keep reading. Deuteronomy 1:16. And I charged your judges at the time, saying, hear the causes between your brothers, and judge righteously between every man and his brother and the stranger that is with him. Moses gave the responsibility to these men to be over these people, man. Deal with their issues, hear their problems, and solve it. Make sure that any contention that come up between these brothers, that you're the one that settles it and squashes it. Where is that leadership in the Black and Hispanic community today? Where is the place where Black men can go to get their problems resolved? Where a man and a woman having a disagreement in their house can get help to end the disagreement without there being any bloodshed or without somebody being under threat of going to prison. That only exists in the Israelite school of UPK. You understand? I don't know where else on the planet there's a conflict resolution center for black people. Here in the ISUPK, guess what? We doing the job that Moses required be done. We handle situations and issues that arise here among brothers and sisters in the nation. There are schools in the ISUPK that's in gang riddled areas, right? There are situations that come up where them brothers have beefs and have issues in the street. They can't resolve it. They come to the ISUPK and say, listen, man, we need some mediation. We need somebody to squash this situation for us. And that's the work, that's the function that we perform in our community. And it's always been that way since Moses established it with the chiefs and the heads over the tribes. Who's in charge of deciding which men go where and have authority in which zone? Commanding General Yohanan. Today, he's the one responsible for putting men in cities and telling them that they have charge over that city. I didn't wake up one day and say, I'm going to go to Memphis and build a school. You understand? I had to go and get counsel. I had to seek permission. I was told I had to go and do reconnaissance and I had to give a presentation and explain why it was expedient for me to leave Philadelphia, where I was greatly needed, to come to a place where there wasn't a school to build it up. I had to petition to get permission to come down here to Memphis to build this school up. And Commander General Yohanan, with his authority, gave me the responsibility of coming down to the city and building up a school. Now, the fake Israelites, in the GOCC and the Sakari and the purple faggots, I should have said that word, the purple pigs, who decides who has authority over the people? Who's watching over the people? Who's handling the disagreements between brothers? We don't see it. What we see is in those different groups and organizations, when they have issues and problems, they come to us. You would not understand how many brothers' wives we've counseled in organizations that's not in the UPK. You would not believe how many, issues and problems we resolved that never make it to the light of day, because we are righteous men of God and we don't, spread people's business or cast rumors or any of that. We take our job very serious. You understand? And it's a job that was given, that was established all the way back in the days of Moses. The brother Akal had a question. He said, Salaki Cap, what do you say to someone who says that was back then in the Bible that don't apply today? I would tell them to show me where in the Bible that authority went away. Also, I would tell them the scripture says that the Most High never changes, man. Let me get that scripture for you, all right? The Most High does not change. What the ordinances that he established in ancient and what we're reading right now, that ordinance is still in place today. You understand? Let's get Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. This is a perfect scripture. Perfect scripture. All right. Malachi chapter 3, verse 6. We're going to read verse 7. All right. It says, for I am the Most High. I change not. Therefore, ye sons of Jacob are not consumed. Even from the days of your fathers, ye are gone away from mine ordinances and have not kept them. Return unto me, and I will return unto you, saith the Most High of hosts. You understand? The Lord said, I'm the Most High. I don't change. Everything that I set up, the ordinances that I put in place, y'all haven't followed them. But if you will return to my ordinances, if you return to following the way that I set up for you, then I'll return to you. Guess what? The Lord has returned to us in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. He's given us back our wisdom and our understanding of how to deal with conflict, of how to resolve issues, of how to judge the matters between a brother or a sister, between two brothers, between two sisters, between a mother and her children, a father and his children, a father and his son. The Lord has given us the wisdom and the knowledge to be able to handle those things. And that's why they get handled in the UPK. Go to anybody who you know that's ever left the school. You'll never hear them say that the structure of the school wasn't there for them to resolve their issue. There's no one that can ever say, yeah, man, I called to get some help and they wasn't there for me. The most they can say is, yeah, nah, they wasn't, they didn't hear my point of view, or they weren't empathetic to my situation. The Lord don't call for us to be empathetic to your situation. In fact, the Lord calls for the opposite. Let's read on and see what Moses said as he gave orders for them to be in judgment and to be responsible for settling disputes. Let's read, go back to Deuteronomy 1. Read Deuteronomy chapter 1, verse 17. Ye shall not respect persons in judgment, but ye shall hear the small as well as the great. You shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is the Most High's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. And I commanded you at that time all the things which you should do. You understand? Moses gave us to understand. Moses gave them the order not to be respecters of persons. Just because you come to get help just because you come with a grievance doesn't mean you're right. And unfortunately, everybody believes that they're right. So when a grievance comes up and things don't go their way, people are quick to want to blame the school, want to blame the structure, want to blame the judgment. Listen, you're not mad at us, you're mad at the Lord. You bring a dispute and you get told that you were wrong, you got to accept that, brother. You got to take low. Because if not, you're not fighting against the authority of these men. You're fighting against the authority of the Lord. And it's important that brothers and sisters understand that. All right? So let's drop that. When the Lord established his authority over the children of Israel with Moses. And Moses delegated that authority to others to be over the people, to give them the more personalized, close-knit authority. Everybody understands. Now, what happens when the people didn't respect Moses' authority? Let's get Let's get what happened when they came up against the authority of Moses. All right. Bear with me. All right, let's go. This is Numbers chapter 16. It's crazy. This is an amazing story. Every time I read it, it's amazing that these cats thought that, they thought themselves suitable to rule over the children. So they came up against the Moses. And understand, what we about to read is what happens to this day. That's what's amazing for a call for what you asked the question. What if somebody says that this doesn't apply today? There is nothing in the Bible that occurred in ancient times that's not still occurring today. There's not a situation or a circumstance that men and women of God faced in the Bible that we aren't faced with today. And today, the nation of Israel has a crisis in leadership. We have a crisis of authority. We have a problem acknowledging who we should follow and who should be leading us. And the reality is, the men that we should be following and the men that should be leading us, God established them. But the majority of people don't want to accept that authority. They don't want to accept that those men are the ones that were established, because those men require what God requires. We're not going to give you sweet words and sing songs and play I Love Jesus in the mouth music. And guess what? That immediately makes a lot of people say, I can't go to their school. I can't worship in their church, because the reality is a lot of religious people don't want to obey God. You brothers and sisters that tune into these classes and sit in here for 90 minutes, sit in here for 2 hours and listen to these breakdowns and take notes and add value to your life and your walk with the Most High. You know how rare you are? You know how unique you are on the planet, that you would dedicate 90 minutes out of your day to sit here and listen to me talk about the Bible and talk about God? The majority of people are not serious at all about the Most High. They're not serious at all about getting their life in order and being who God called them to be. Most people are just trying to impress other people. That's why they go to church. That's why they catch that Holy Spirit. Oh, come on. And they shake and they jump in church because they want everybody to be like, oh, yeah, they got the Spirit, man. The Lord with them. We ain't about that in here. We about becoming who God called us to be. And in order to do that, you're going to have to accept some things you don't like. You're going to have to face some hard truths about yourself and decide, am I going to fight that thing out of me that God doesn't like? Or am I going to blame God or choose a different God? That's what it is in here. You understand? So when we're reading about the Most High set up Moses to be an authority. Moses performed miracles and led the children of Israel out of Egypt. And there were some people that didn't like that. Why? Because in Egypt, they had power. In Egypt, they had influence and they had authority. Here come this nigga Moses out of nowhere, disappeared for 40 years in the wilderness, was a criminal according to the Egyptian laws, and now he done led us out here into the desert. There were some people that didn't like the idea that Moses was in charge. But let's look at this and see how they spoke to Moses. Let's see if they came and said, yeah, nigga, we don't want to listen to you. Or if they tried it another way. And this is the way fake Israelites talk about, the Lord being with them. Moses was bold in his authority over the children of Israel. Moses didn't have to pretend or be friendly to nobody. He didn't have to care about nobody's feelings. Why? Because God chose him. But here's how somebody who the Lord didn't choose tries to present themselves so they could be over the people. Everybody understands? This is Numbers chapter 16, verse 1. It says, now Korah, the son of Izhar, the son of Kohath, the son of Levi, and Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, and On, the son of Peleth, sons of Reuben, took men. So who are these men? All these men are Reubenites. They from the tribe of Reuben. And see Moses, who was a Levite, came and delivered Israel out of Egypt. These men of Reuben is looking at Moses like, man, well, let's find out how they're looking at Moses. Numbers chapter 16, verse 2. And they rose up before Moses with certain of the children of Israel, 250 princes of the assembly, famous in the congregation, men of renown. How are these men famous and how are they men of renown? These are men who had a name in Egypt. These are men who had a reputation in Egypt. These are men who were leaders in Egypt. Today, these men would be your politicians. They would be your athletes, your entertainers. So these sons of Reuben got 250 niggas that was famous in Egypt that had influence over the people in Egypt. And they came before Moses. Let's see what these men came before Moses to do. Verse 3, and they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron and said unto them, ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. Now, is what these men said a true statement? Is what these men said right? Read it one more time. These are the men that are challenging Moses' authority, that don't understand why we got to follow this man. Here's what they said. Numbers 16 and 3. And they gathered themselves together against Moses and against Aaron and said unto them, ye take too much upon you, seeing all the congregation are holy, every one of them, and the Lord is among them. Wherefore then lift ye up yourselves above the congregation of the Lord. If we all holy, if the Lord is dealing with all of us, why are you in charge? What's the answer to this question? What's the answer to the question that they're asking? We're all holy. The Lord is dealing with all of us. Why are you in charge? That's what they say to us today in the Israelite school of UPK. They say, why y'all say y'all the only ones with the truth? What makes you think God is only dealing with the UPK? God is not only dealing with the UPK. What's the answer to that? Is God dealing with everybody? Is everybody holy in the nation? I'm asking y'all, is God still talking to you in your mind? Does the Lord, give you visions and the interpretation thereof? You read about these men in the Bible. The Lord came and spoke to Moses in the burning bush on the Mount Sinai, wrote the 10 Commandments on a tablet for Moses. Is the Lord doing that with any of y'all? Do you think the Lord is doing that with Rakashiar and the GOCC? Do y'all think that the Lord is with Nathaniel 7, talking to him in his ear to lead the Purple organization? No. The reality is, we're not, the congregation is not all holy. And the Lord is not dealing with all of them. You understand? I got some honest answers. A call said, La sir. Todd Cole said, we struggle to be. And that's an honest, honorable answer, Todd Cole. We're struggling to be holy. We're struggling for the Lord to be with us. But we are not on the same level as the rulers that the Lord is dealing with. I am not on the same level of Commander General Yohana. I'm not on the same level of General Muhammad and General Mayat. You understand? Now, does the Lord use us? Does the Lord give us discernment? And does the Lord use us to be able to counsel and mentor and to judge and to deal with different matters? Yes. But all of that is based on our willingness to accept the authority that is above us. You have to accept the authority that is above you if you are going to serve the Most High. None of us have a direct connection to the Most High. I showed you in the Bible yesterday in 1 Corinthians 11:3 that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of every woman is the man, and the head of Christ is the Most High. Well, guess what? In the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, the head of every man in here is Christ, and Christ established there's someone I'm gonna put in charge. You obey him. You follow him. You cannot deal directly with the Most High without going through the authority that he has placed over you. Everybody understands? So this same thing that Dathan and Korah came out against Moses and said is what is being said today about the men that the Lord has chosen to be in authority. Let's not take my word for it. Let's keep reading. So let's see what Moses' response is to them saying what they said. Numbers 16:4. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his and who is holy, and will cause them to come near unto him, even him whom he hath chosen will he cause to come near unto him. Moses said, no sweat. Well, actually, Moses fell on his face. Why would Moses fall on his face? This story is particularly, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, there's something you got to understand in order to be able to get the visual of what's taking place here. First thing, let me show you this. This is another thing that the Most High established, right? This is everybody. People think that the Lord is dealing with every one of them individually. Let me show y'all what the Lord said to Moses. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. All right, this is Exodus chapter 4 and verse 15. All right. Exodus 4 and 15. This is the relationship that Moses had with Aaron, right? If you can understand the relationship Moses had with Aaron, then you'll understand the relationship that Moses had with everybody else. Let me show you, let me show you how this is. Because the audacity of people today to think that they don't need to respect the authority of the men that God has set up in the earth shows just how little they know about the Bible and understand the God of this book. All right. This is Exodus chapter 4, verse 15. It says, "And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth, and I will be with thy mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people, and he shall be even to thee instead of a mouth, and thou shalt be to him instead of God." When the Most High first sent Moses to go and talk to Pharaoh and to speak and to say, "Let my people go," Moses was afraid to go before Pharaoh because Moses had a speech impediment. Moses said, "I'm slow of speech. They're not going to understand me." Moses had what we would call today a stutter, right? Well, Moses didn't speak all the way clear, so Moses was concerned about that. The Lord told Moses, "Your brother Aaron is coming. And what I want you to do is you're going to talk to Aaron and tell him the things to say, and Aaron is going to talk to the people. And Aaron will be to you as a mouth, and you'll be to Aaron as God." Meaning what? The Most High never spoke to Aaron. The Most High never said anything to Aaron. But the Most High spoke to Moses, which means what about Aaron? Aaron's faith had to be amazing in that he never heard no voice of the Lord. He's standing there with Moses. Moses hear a voice talking to him. Aaron standing there looking at Moses. Moses whispers to Aaron what the Lord says, something. Then Aaron goes and speaks to the people. So when you're reading the book of Exodus, when you're reading Numbers and Deuteronomy, Moses is not saying anything out loud to anybody. Nobody ever heard Moses speak except for Aaron. So Moses and Aaron is standing there. Let's go. I need you to understand this. Moses was to Aaron as God, and Aaron was to Moses as a mouth. So when Moses went to speak before the people, Moses is whispering in Aaron's ear. Something. Aaron is talking to the people, and God said something. And the people looking like, okay, all right. Then Moses whispers something else, and Aaron standing there, he listening to Moses, huh? Moses finished talking, Aaron go, and the Lord said this. So let's go back to Numbers chapter 16. Because when you understand that, the visual that you'll get from Dathan and Korah and them running up on Moses, it's funny. It's funny. I like to teach these classes in a way that you can understand the Bible from a practical sense. I want you to be able to really visualize and see what's going on. Dathan and Korah and these 250 men come before Moses and Aaron. And they say what they say. Moses, y'all, the Lord is with all of us. The whole congregation is holy. Why do y'all have to be the only ones in charge? Numbers chapter 16, verse 4. And when Moses heard it, he fell upon his face. So they standing in there. Who's with Moses? Moses is with Aaron. Because Moses is never not with Aaron. They come up to Moses and Aaron. They say what they say. They finish speaking. Moses dropped to the ground, face to the ground. I'm sure everybody looked like, what the hell is going on? Moses jumped to his face to the ground out of fear of what God was going to do to these niggas. Because Moses understood this is not a plea for them to help. This is not them saying, "Oh, Moses, let us help you out take off some of this burden." Moses understands what the brother Chris Taylor said. They want power. They don't want to follow Moses. They want to be in power too. Moses drops to the ground out of fear. And then guess what? Aaron had to drop down too so that he could hear what Moses had to say. They finished talking. Moses dropped down, his face to the ground. Everybody looking around. Aaron stoops down and gets on his hands and knees to Moses to hear what Moses got to say. Moses whispers to Aaron. Aaron rises up and says, let's read verse 5. And he spake unto Korah and unto all his company, saying, even tomorrow the Lord will show who are his, and who is holy, and will cause him to come near unto him, even him whom he has chosen will he cause to come near unto him. Take you censers, Korah, and all his company, and put fire therein, and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. You understand? Let's keep reading. And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi. Well, okay, so Korah and them must have been sons of Levi. Let me see something. Okay. Okay, let's keep reading. I'm trying not to read this whole thing down. Hold on. Bear with me, y'all. Hold on. I gotta read it so we can get this. I gotta read it so we can get the context. All right. Moses drops to his face and says, listen, y'all take you censers and come before the Lord tomorrow. The Lord gonna show you who he's with. The Lord gonna show you who's holy, right? So let's go back. This is Numbers 16 and 6. All right, this do take you censers, Korah and all his company, and put fire therein and put incense in them before the Lord tomorrow. And it shall be that the man whom the Lord does choose, he shall be holy. Meaning what? The Lord gonna show you who's holy. It ain't everybody. It ain't the whole nation. It ain't all the princes that the Lord is dealing with. The Lord gonna show you who is holy, who's the one he's dealing with. You understand? Ye take too much upon you, ye sons of Levi. And Moses said unto Korah, hear, I pray you, ye sons of Levi. Seemeth it but a small thing unto you, that the God of Israel has separated you from the congregation of Israel, to bring you near to himself, to do the service of the tabernacle of the Lord, and to stand before the congregation to minister unto them. And he has brought thee near to him, and all thy brethren, the sons of Levi, with thee. And ye seek the priesthood also? Meaning Moses is saying, the Lord then gave Levi everything. You got the services of the Lord. You got the, rulership of the people. The Lord then brought you close to him, and now you seeking the priesthood also. What enough the Lord gave you all this? You want my seat too? Meaning you want Moses' seat, the leadership seat? Verse 11. For which cause has thou and all thy company are gathered together against the Lord? And what is Aaron that you murmur against him? And Moses sent to call Dathan and Abiram, the sons of Eliab, which said, we will not come up. So Moses went and called to the other men. They said they would not come up. Verse 13. Is it a small thing that thou hast brought us up out of the land that flows with milk and honey to kill us in the wilderness? Except thou make thyself make thyself altogether a prince over us. Meaning what? These foolish niggas missed Egypt. They missed the rules of Egypt. They missed the lifestyle of Egypt. And they looked at Moses delivering them out of the wilderness as though Moses did it just so he could have power, just so he could have authority. Why? Why would anybody look at Moses and say, man, that nigga greedy. He just want to be in charge. He just want to rule over everybody. I need somebody to answer this in the class. Shalom, Yahushua Tabashim Yahushua, Sister Shakaya checking in. Shalom, Yahushua Tabashim Yahushua, Sister Kasar Wana. My question, I need somebody to answer. Why would these men think to themselves, that nigga Moses just want to be in charge? That nigga Moses brought us out of Egypt, the land that flowed with milk and honey, just so he could rule over us in this wilderness. He just wanted to be in charge. Why would somebody think that about Moses? See, the Bible is so amazing that the Lord give us life lessons in these scriptures. You can draw on real life by understanding this story between Moses and these niggas that came up against him in the wilderness right now. I ain't getting nobody chiming in online. So for time's sake, I'm going to give it to you. They were projecting onto Moses what they thought in their own minds. In their minds, they wanted to be in charge. They wanted to rule over the people. So because they had intentions of doing anything to be in charge, that's how they looked at Moses. It's the same way today. Fake Israelites want power so bad. They want the people to follow them so bad. They want honor and glory and to have a name that's important, that they look at Commander General Yohana like that's what he wants. Commander General Yohana will tell you he did not want this burden. He did not scheme his way into his position. He didn't, lie his way into his rank. All he did was be a good soldier. All he did was follow orders. All Commander General Yohana did was obey the men that were above him. And through the passage of time and the process of time, he arrived at being the highest ranking man in the school. The men who did not do what Commander General Yohana did, who did not follow orders, who did not do what they were told to do, the rank never failed to them. But because they are greedy, because they are selfish, because they are power hungry, they project that onto Commander General Yohana. They say, oh, he just want to be in charge. He just want to rule over men. They project it on us in the lower ranks. Oh, y'all niggas just want to rule over somebody. Y'all just want to tell brothers what to do. You think having rank is about telling a man what to do? You don't know the ISUPK. Having rank is about having responsibility. These men in this school have phones that never cut off. Why? Because I can get a call at any time. And when that call comes through, I have to answer. When that message comes through, I have to respond. Why? Because the lives of these brothers and sisters depend on my ability to be able to answer their needs. That's what rank is about. That's what Moses' job was about. These niggas thought Moses made himself a prince. Moses didn't make himself a prince. The Lord rose Moses up and made him in authority. Moses didn't even want to go talk to Pharaoh. The Lord made him do it. You understand? That's where we are today. It's the men that aren't looking for power, they're the ones that get it. The men that don't have a desire to just want to rule over people and tell them what to do, that's who the Lord chooses to get raised up and to be in charge. These niggas came up against Moses and were absolutely evil for. Let's go back to the scripture. This is Numbers chapter 16, verse 14. Moreover, thou hast not brought us into a land that flows with milk and honey, or given us inheritance of fields and vineyards. Wilt thou put out the eyes of these men? We will not come up. They were scared of Moses, that Moses was going to kill them. Why? Because that's what they would have done. They would have killed the men that came up against them. That's why they thought Moses was going to kill them. You understand? Apostle Paul said because they want to be in charge. Brother Chris Taylor said because they used to be in the light, he made them feel small. Absolutely, huh? They did not like not being in charge. They didn't like being told what to do, which is what a lot of men today feel. A lot of brothers will never come into ISUPK. Why? Oh, man, they strict over there, man. They like the military, man. They tell you what to do. Nigga, don't you know that's what you need in your life? Don't you know that's how you're going to make it into the kingdom, is if somebody is telling you what to do? Because if you just do what you want to do all goddamn day, you'll never serve the Lord. If you do what you want to do all day, what happens when you are tricked by your flesh? Who holds you accountable? Who disciplines you? That's the problem right now, is brothers don't want nobody to discipline them. Brothers don't want nobody that they got to check in with once a week so he can examine their spirit and ask them what's going on and see what they've been up to. Brothers don't want to have a man watching over them. That's what we do in here in ISUPK. I got my rank because I watch over men. I watch over sisters. I know when you're going through something and you don't want to talk about it. And guess what? I'm not going to ask you about it neither. I'm just gonna say, is everything Tawab? And you'll say, yeah, everything is good. I say, you sure you good to go? Yeah, I'm perfect over here. No problem. Lord be with you. I'm not gonna force you to do anything, but you know that I know that I know. You understand? I said that wrong. You know that I know that you know that I know. You ain't gotta say it. The Lord will show it to me. But it's not my job to go and pursue solving your problems. You got to want your problem solved. I just make sure you check in. That's all. Make sure you check in, see how you doing. Everything good? Okay, no sweat. If you need anything, let me know. I'm here for you. But so many brothers don't even want to do that. You want to know why brothers don't want nobody over them? Because they can't stop getting high long enough to make a phone call. There's brothers that can't check in once a week because they got to get high every day. They can't stop getting high for, 30 minutes to make a phone call to sound sober. And trust me, you call me high, I'm going to know it. You call me drunk, I'm going to know it. You text me all the time and I never hear your voice. I know why. It's okay. Lord be with you. But there's too many brothers and sisters that don't want real authority in their life. They don't want the Lord in their business. Which is foolish, though, because the Lord in your business anyway. Don't you know he see everything? What are you hiding from? What kind of a deviant person are you that you don't want to check in with men? You don't want men scrutinizing your life. Nigga, don't you know God sees everything you're doing? You don't want to check in with me because you think I'm going to be all in your business. Nigga, God is in your business. Who are you fooling? Who are you pulling a fast one over on? Real men and women that desire to serve the Lord don't mind righteous men watching over them. They recognize that these righteous men are watching over me to help me, to keep me in order, to check me when I'm wrong, to correct me when I'm doing something I ain't supposed to do, so that God doesn't have to correct you. If you're in the truth or you're not in the truth, if you don't have nobody in your life to tell you, hey, man, you better slow down or you better stop what you're doing, the Lord going to have to be the one to tell you. The Lord going to have to be the one to do it. And trust me, that is not what any of us want. The best thing you could hope for is to have righteous men of God ruling over you so the Lord ain't got to deal with you. But too many brothers and sisters don't want that. They're not willing to, look for that. They want to think that they can do what they want to do and God going to be with them. That's not how it works. Let's keep reading about these men that came up against Moses, all right? This is Numbers chapter 16, verse 15. It says, and Moses was very wroth and said unto the Lord, respect not their offering. I have not taken one ass from them, neither have I hurt one of them. And Moses said unto Korah, before thou and all thy company, before the Lord, thou and they and Aaron on tomorrow. And Aaron tomorrow. Hold up. Hold on. So let's drop that. Let's go. We'll drop down to Numbers 16 and 28. So Moses gave him the instructions. Y'all come out tomorrow, have your censers, put your incense in there. The Lord going to show you who he's with, who's holy, and who he chose to lead the people, right? Numbers chapter 16, verse 28. And Moses said, hereby ye shall know that the Lord has sent me to do all these works, for I have not done them of my own mind. If these men die the common death of all men, or if they be visited after the visitation of all men, then the Lord has not sent me. But if the Lord make a new thing, and the earth open her mouth and swallow them up with all that appertain unto them, and they go down quick into the pit, then ye shall understand that these men have provoked the Most High. And it came to pass, as he had made an end of speaking all these words, that the ground clave asunder that was under them, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed them up, and their houses, and all the men that appertained unto Korah, and all their goods. They and all that appertained to them went down alive into the pit, and the earth closed upon them, and they perished from among the congregation. And all Israel that were round about them fled at the cry of them, for they said, lest the earth swallow us up also. And there came out a fire from the Lord and consumed the 250 men that offered incense. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Eleazar, the son of Aaron the priest, that he take up the censers out of the burning, and scatter thou the fire yonder, for they are hallowed. The censers of these sinners against their own souls, let them make them broad plates for a covering of the altar, for they offered them before the Lord, therefore they are hallowed. And they shall be a sign unto the children of Israel. Look, the Lord opened up the ground and swallowed these niggas and then closed the ground back up. This is not an earthquake. This is not people falling in quicksand. This is some crazy, crazy stuff the Lord did. Why? To establish the authority of Moses. They came against Moses, the earth. This is the earth, right? The men on the earth. The earth opened up. The men got swallowed. Oh, they all fall into the pit. Oh, they houses, they families, wives, donkeys, horses, cattle, clothes, and everything fall in the pit. Oh, they screaming. Then the earth closed back up. So shit crazy. It's like an earthquake, but the earth split into a big pit. The people fell in the pit that was against Moses. Then the earth closed back up like nothing happened. Then the 250 princes that were holding censers, fire came out of heaven and burnt them niggas up. And nothing was left but they burning bodies and the censers. After the earth swallowed them men up and the censers burnt the rest of them, Moses said, Eleazar, go get those censers out. They holy to the Lord. Nobody's ever going to carry those censers again. You're going to go get those and you're going to put them in front of the ark. You're going to remember that these are the men that came up against Moses. The Lord does not entertain multiple rulers. The Lord does not entertain several authorities over the children of Israel. There's one man the Lord chooses, and that's who he deals with. Everybody else got to go through that man. Was it in it? Now, I'm for time's sake, I'm not going to be able to go through all these scriptures. But I want you to think of David and Saul. Saul was made king over Israel, and Saul was the king until Saul did something that disobeyed the Lord. Saul disobeyed Samuel. Matter of fact, let me show you where the Lord took the kingdom from Saul. Let's get First Samuel. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Damn, this is rough. All right. It's cold as hell. Get First Samuel chapter 15. First Samuel 15 and 28. First Samuel chapter 15, verse 28. All right. Now, Saul was the man that the Lord chose to be king. Right? Samuel anointed Saul. Saul was king over Israel. Then Saul was sent out by the Lord to go against the Amalek. Saul went out against Amalek, and he was given strict orders to kill Amalek and everything of their possessions. Meaning, Saul was supposed to kill all of the Amalekites, all their possessions, belongings. They were supposed to burn it all down. Saul did not do that. Saul went and saw that the Amalekites had a lot of wealth, a lot of horses and sheep and cattle. And Saul said, man, look, we're going to take some of this back home with us. And when he came back before Samuel, the Lord had told Samuel what Saul did. Meaning what? Saul was the king, but who was God talking to? God was talking to Samuel. God was not talking to Saul. Which goes to show you, even when a man was made the king, the Lord's authority never left from the man that he chose, which was Samuel. Everybody understands? So let's read what Samuel told to Saul. It's 1 Samuel chapter 15, verse 28. And Samuel said unto him, the Lord has rent the kingdom of Israel from thee this day, and has given it to a neighbor of thine that is better than thou. So Saul was told on this day, the Lord has taken the kingdom from you and has given it to a neighbor that is better than you. Verse 29, and also the strength of Israel will not lie, nor repent, for he is not a man that he should repent. The Lord is not going to change his mind. He's not going to repent. He's not going to go back on what he determined. Meaning what? Samuel was telling Saul, it's over for you. There's nothing you can do to get it back. So Saul at this moment knew that he was no longer king. If somebody else was going to be made king, did Saul accept what Samuel told him? No. Saul did not accept what Samuel told him. Saul fought against what Samuel told him to the point of a civil war. A civil war was waged between the house of Judah and the men that followed David, and the house of Benjamin and the men that stood with Saul. Didn't need to be a civil war between those two houses, though, because Saul knew, I'm not the king no more. The Lord don't want me ruling over the people. Now let's go to when the next king was chosen. Let's get hold on. Let's get 1 Samuel 16 and 13 now. Let's get 1 Samuel 16 and 13. All right, this is 1 Samuel chapter 16, verse 13. It says, then Samuel took the horn of oil and anointed him in the midst of his brothers. And the Spirit of the Most High came upon David from that day forward. So Samuel rose up and went to Ramah. But the Spirit of the Lord departed from Saul, and an evil spirit from the Lord troubled him. And Saul's servant said unto him, Behold, now an evil spirit from God troubleth thee. Everybody understands? Not only did God tell Saul he wasn't going to be king no more, when Samuel anointed David to be king, everyone knew when the Lord's spirit left from off of Saul and when the evil spirit came on to Saul. You understand? This was not something that was secret or private or nobody knew or understood. Saul's servants knew the moment the spirit of the Lord left him and the evil spirit came on Saul. And if they knew it and Saul knew it, then there was no need for there to be a civil war. There was no need for there to be a battle fought. For countless lives to be lost, all because Saul wanted to be stubborn. All because Saul would not accept that he disobeyed the Lord and was no longer fit to be king. I don't need to go through any more of this story. Everybody knows what happens in the end, right? David kills Goliath. David is triumphed and praised by Israel. David serves Saul and is there in his home with him for many years. And when David rises up to become king, Saul understands this is the man the Lord chose to replace me, but does not want to accept it. And they fight a war, bloody war. In the end, Saul loses his life. David is anointed king, right? Then David had many sons, but there was only one son that was chosen to rule after David, and that was Solomon. You understand? Solomon was chosen to be the king after David. Solomon's brothers didn't like it. They tried to rise up against him, tried to fight against him. Solomon had them brothers put to death because the Lord was with Solomon. And you go on down to the New Testament. When Christ is born, Christ walks the earth. There were several camps on the earth when Christ was alive. Somebody that's in the chat, tell me who else had authority in Israel when Christ was walking the earth? Let's not even go his whole life. When Christ came on the scene and began preaching, what were the camps that were operational in Israel during the time when Christ started teaching? Somebody tell me, who were the camps that were operating in Israel when Christ began to teach? Shekiah says Caesar. Caesar had authority in the days when Christ was on the earth. John the Baptist had a camp. John the Baptist had disciples. He had followers. So you got the Romans with their rulership. John the Baptist with the men that was following him. Who else had authority? Who else had a camp when Jesus walked the earth? Todd Cole and the Cost Upon said the Pharisees. Correct. That's 4. That's 3 right there. Caesar and the Romans, John the Baptist, the Sadducees, the Pharisees. That's 4 right there. Then you got Christ and his men, they out there teaching. All these men got authority, right? Is God with all of them? Was the Lord with Caesar and the Romans? Was the Lord with John the Baptist? Was the Lord with the Pharisees and Sadducees? Hell, was the Lord with Jesus Christ? All these people vying for power, vying for authority. All of these people teaching and preaching and saying, follow us, follow our way. Who was God with? God was only with one. The Lord never was with everybody. The Lord was with Christ. How do we know that the Lord was with Christ? How do we know that the Lord was with Christ? Because Christ performed miracles. Christ raised the dead, and Christ taught the truth. Repent, for the kingdom of heaven is at hand. You understand? Now, even though the Most High was with Christ, he still used everybody to show that he was with Christ. The Lord used John the Baptist to show everybody that he was with Christ because John the Baptist questioned Christ. John the Baptist said, damn, is this the man that we was waiting for, or is there somebody else? God came out of the sky and a dove landed on Jesus' head to show John the Baptist, this the man that I sent. Why would John doubt and ask Christ, are you really the one that is supposed to be coming? Because John's faith was not that strong. You understand? The Sadducees and Pharisees, God was with them to show them, if we leave this man alone, he going to take everything. He going to take the people. The Romans going to come take our seat. We can't leave this man alone. The Lord was with the Pharisees and Sadducees. And that's why they plotted to kill Christ. The Lord was working with Pontius Pilate. Pontius Pilate wasn't sure what to do about Jesus. God gave his wife a nightmare the night before he decided what to do with Jesus. The Lord was working through all of these men to show them he's the one. That's the man I chose. That's the man whose authority I gave. Everybody should follow him. Who listened to the Lord? Nobody. Nobody listened to the Lord. Did the Lord still do what he wanted to do, though? Did the Lord still use Christ? Absolutely. Christ died, lost his life, and then rose again and appeared before his disciples in a new body and told them, man, it's me. I'm him. The Lord, I told y'all that the Lord was going to destroy this body and I'll be back in 3 days, and I came. You understand? Christ told Peter, before the night is over, you're going to deny me 3 times. Peter said, nah, Lord, never that. I'm a soldier, man. I'm down with you. I'm going to ride for you. They came and snatched Christ up. Peter denied that nigga 3 times. Then he heard the rooster crow, and Peter looked up like, damn, the Lord was with that nigga, man. That's what strengthened Peter after Christ died, was Christ telling Peter, you're going to betray me. And Peter saying, nigga, never that. I'll die first. It was the betraying Christ that made Peter realize, damn, the Lord was with him. Then what did the Lord do? Christ said to Peter, you the rock on which I'm going to build my church. After Christ died, did the disciples challenge Peter's authority? Did anybody say, Peter, why should you be the one in charge? Nah, man. All of the disciples followed Peter. In Acts, the 3rd chapter, when all the people came together and laid all their goods at the feet of the prophets or the feet of the disciples, Peter was the one that was responsible for deciding what needed to be done. Later on in the book of Acts, the 14th chapter, there's different schools being set up, different men given authority. Peter's the one deciding who's going to be in charge of what. Peter was the man that took the authority after Christ died. And Peter raised men up to have that authority, and that has maintained on the earth since that time. That same authority that the Lord has given the men to be in charge of the nation, to stand for righteousness and judgment, you understand, and the spirit of the Most High in Christ in the earth, it has never ceased since the days of Peter. And guess what? It's alive today. That spirit rests in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commanding General Yohanan. And it's been that way since 1969. Before it was Commanding General Yohanan, it was the heads of the school, 7 heads. Those men decided that they were going to share the authority. They passed it on down to it landed on Commanding General Yohanan, and he's the one that has it today. And you ain't got to believe it. You ain't got to trust what I'm saying. Again, what's happening in the earth today is no different than any other time. ISUPK, we say we the ones with the truth. We the ones with the home of the truth. The spirit of Christ dwells here. We the only men on the earth that's doing everything that the Lord said to do, that break this Bible down the way it needs to be broken down, and to show our people who we are, show you who the oppressor is, show you who these other nations are. Anybody got any to it? I don't know who else has the answers to all of the questions that people ask in the Bible but us. But yeah, we rough around the edges, man. We niggas from the streets. We talk like how we talk. We look like how we look. We have multiple wives and we drink, and you know, we live our lives. So yeah, there's a reason why a lot of people wouldn't want to follow us. But guess what? The Lord don't choose who you gonna be comfortable with following. The Lord chooses the men that you're gonna look at and say those niggas are crazy. Man, I came in the truth in 2010. It's 2 years after Barack Obama became president. You know, we living in a post-racial America, man. Everything is good and America's getting better and black president. I remember coming into the truth. We was teaching in downtown DC on 7th and H. I missed that camp down there, man. 7th and H is right outside of the China Gallery Place Chinatown Metro Station. It was busy in the middle of the afternoon on a Friday. We go out there and blaze, man. Blaze, the white man is the devil. Barack Obama's an African. Black people that are Africans. And I remember them people thought we was crazy, man. Say, yeah, y'all niggas crazy, man. Get a job. Talking about the white man, the devil. White man ain't doing nothing. Here we are. Some odd years later, I can imagine what that camp is like in 2026. We ain't so crazy no more. The things that we saying ain't so foreign anymore. With the Epstein list and Donald Trump being president, they trying to revoke the 14th Amendment. They trying to go back to, you know, the days of being able to just disappear people into the damn prisons and in the hell. We in the time now where God's people need righteous authority. God's people need to know who has the answers. Who should we be following? Who's going to lead us out of this hell? And the answer is Commander General Yohana in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. You understand? And this rulership ain't gonna apply, you know, on a meaning this. Black people are looking for somebody on TV to lead them when we need to be looking for somebody in our community to lead us. Black people want somebody that's famous that they can say, yeah, that's who I follow. When who you need to be following is that nigga that's in the ghetto that nobody knows about. But because of our oppressor and because of the lifestyle and the culture of America, we want to look at somebody that everybody looks to, when that's never how the Lord has dealt with leadership. Christ, when he walked the earth, was a nigga nobody would pay attention to. He was a nigga nobody would have acknowledged if he wasn't performing the miracles and teaching those things he was teaching, but he wasn't the cat that everybody wanted to follow. He wasn't rich and had money and dressed in gay clothing. So he was not the choice of the people, but he was the choice of the Lord. Well, in 2026, the righteous authority of the children of Israel rests in the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge under Commander General Yohana, and it's been that way since 1969. And with that, we the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge out of 1 West 125th Street in Harlem, New York. Since 1969, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge has been teaching so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians the truth according to the Bible. What is the truth? The truth is that so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians descend from the greatest people that have ever walked the face of the earth. The Bible identifies us as the lost 12 tribes of the nation of Israel. And in the year 2026, there is nothing more important than for God's chosen people to learn the truth of who we are, where we come from, and what our purpose is on this earth. All you brothers and sisters out there, pay your tithes. You understand? 10% of any penny of any increase the Lord gives you. It's supposed to come into the school. That's how we fund being able to go out and teach and do community outreach and make sure that our brothers and sisters hear this word. You understand? April 4th in Houston, Texas is the Lord's Passover. You read in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, the Lord commanded that the children of Israel come together to keep the Passover once a year. We do that in the ISUPK, and it's for all you brothers and sisters that's learning the truth. You need to be there. August 4th, we in Houston, Texas for the Lord's Passover. Go to isupk.com to pay your Passover fees and to make your arrangements for making it down there. For all you brothers and sisters, some of you all are new in the school, new coming into the truth. Reach out to your camp leader to find out what you need to do to make sure that you're present for the Passover in Houston this year. Y'all got, man, please like and share these classes when they go up. You know what I'm saying? Spread the word. Let brothers and sisters know the priests and prophets of the Most High is in Memphis, Tennessee, in your city and state where you may be checking in from. You understand? Make sure everybody's aware of what it is that we teaching and what's being brought out in these classes. And with that, you got family, loved ones, people you care about in the Memphis, Tennessee, and surrounding areas. Get them in contact with the ISUPK, man. With that, Priest and Captain Soccer War. I'll see y'all tomorrow for class. Shalom.